Ima, I don't know what to do with my life. I have tried different things. I am working here in this firm that I work, and I do not feel fulfilled. I believe that I would do better if I was in another profession. Ima, I don't know. It's just that I don't know where to start from. I think I have a lot of options. Ima, what is my purpose? I think I've been grappling with this idea for a long time. How do I find this almighty strength you keep talking about? You keep on saying strengths, weaknesses. How do I know exactly where my strength is? It's like I can't do anything. I don't think I have strengths. These are comments from different people who have reached out to me on this topic. The topic is, I don't know what to do with my life. My name is Bissong, and I help men to work around these different issues. Of course, I help women too, but I've found that I've been able to help more men, maybe because I am a man and I understand them more. So I get more requests from them. So I help people with image issues, how to dress, your behaviors and all of that. But beyond that, I see myself as a spiritual leader. I help people to find that spiritual part of themselves or take them back to that point. Because truly, I cannot help them find it. But can I help them, direct them, to a point where they can look deep? Hey, look this direction. Have you considered this side? And that is what my life has been for quite a while. Helping people to, rediscover that side. And even a lot more now that I have tried, to very much more understand the, how do I put it? Yeah, I've found more reason to to dig deep into the source of all things. So when things are happening, I want to ask the question, why? So I've stopped taking things just because that's how they are. Face value. I check why. Then I accept the world for what it is. But now armed with extra knowledge as to why it is what it is. You see, this work on purpose, this question on purpose is a very important one, and everybody asks this question. But I've noticed also that there are two P's that people always, misuse: passion and purpose. People talk about following your passion, and I say no. You are meant to follow your purpose and bring your passion along. Your passion should not be a person leading you. You are supposed to lead and carry your passion along. Anything you do, you're supposed to do with passion. If tomorrow I become a tire scrubber, I'm supposed to become a tire scrubber with passion. If tomorrow I become, a pastor, I'm supposed to be a pastor with passion. If I become a tailor, I'm supposed to be a tailor with passion. Everything you do in your life, you're supposed to do them with passion. We are not meant to follow things just because you are passionate about them. Because you can be passionate about anything. The trick is to become passionate about anything you do. Not to say you are following passion. Because you might be passionate about something, but you're not good at that thing. That thing does not give you the relevance you really want in the world. There is one very short quote I have written before. Well, I call it a tweet. Purpose can never be anything you do for yourself. To find purpose, ask: 1, what am I good at? That is my strength. 2, who will I use it to serve? Who are those that will benefit from this? 3, what problems do these people have? 4, what will they become as a result of my solving these problems that they have? One thing you should understand is that purpose is the reason why you are created. And You cannot be the summary of the reason for your creation. That is too shallow. God's purpose for your life or the reason for your creation cannot be just for yourself. That is a small reason. It's too small. You are too small to be the sole purpose of your creation. So when you truly want to know that something is your purpose, it has to exceed you. It has to exude from you, but it has to exceed you. It has to be God's pattern or his mode of reflection of himself. Now, if something that you do does not reflect the utmost glory of God through you, then it is not a true representation of God's purpose for your life. Someone asked me a question recently, and I would like at this point to just put it out there. This is going to be a long podcast. So if you truly want to listen, you're among the people who have been asking this question: what do I do with my life? Where do I go from here? How do I select the thing that's going to give me the most fulfillment? Then I think this podcast, take it as this discussion, this advice from a friend. I believe it's going to help you, a lot. So I've had, different conversations with different people, and many of them have seen things from, different perspectives. One thing that, I was having with a friend of mine, recently was this discussion I had. I went through my to my group, that is my Wisen Men, discourse, and I was trying to help some people, and the first thing I put out there was, who here doesn't know what to do with their lives? And some of the entries I got from some people, one of them was a guy, 26 years old, a graduate and working. And I was asking him, I said, okay, good. Why do you think you have a problem in this area, in this regard? He first said, the main reason why I actually feel this way is sometimes I really don't know how to go about planning for the next stage of my life and how to get there. In as much as I am grateful for where I am, a 26-year-old graduate and working, I really don't feel like I know what next from this point, or even how to get there, and this is basically on the financial level. So I said, okay, what do you do? He said, he's a key PO, a key punching officer under Flour Mills of Nigeria, responsible for loading out the vans that supply retailers from their partners' warehouse from the system, that is a web application. In this case, under my territory at Songwater. And I asked, I said, what work would you rather be doing? He said, my dream job has always been to be a UI, UX designer. He said, but no time and finances for that now. And I said, what about this makes you think you will find fulfillment doing it? Are you saying in a world where UI and UX is not a thing, you will be unfulfilled and sad for life? He said, I don't know if I will call it fulfillment, but the idea of me being a freelancer with one of the most sought after skills in tech is something that would make me feel real good. Now, I want you to listen again. I want to read that last line for you. You see, when you speak to people for a long time, the more you ask them question by question, they begin to reveal more about themselves and about their real thought pattern. If you really want to know how a person truly thinks, you have to enter into a conversation with the person, and carry it for a while, and the person would eventually, start taking off those layers, covering their main ideas, their main mentalities. At some point, you get to see it clearly. Now, he said, I don't know if I will call it fulfillment, but the idea of me being a freelancer, underlying freelancer, with one of the most sought after skills, underlying sought after skills in tech, is something that will make me feel real good. Now, I would like to just let you understand that the simple thing that this man craves is he wants to be sought after and relevant. He also wants to have the freedom of time to do it. It is him simply looking for work that he would enjoy doing. Work that he can be passionate about. But also, is very much important. What is very important to him is relevance. Now, he wants to be a freelancer, which means he has freedom of his time. He knows how to manage his time and all of those kind of things. But beyond that, one of the most sought after skills, he wants to be a person that is valuable, that people want to pay for, his service, and is at some point where he's relevant in the world. And I think that most times the discussion on purpose is basically a discussion on relevance. How can you be relevant? How can you be relevant? Before the end of this discussion, I'm going to be listing out, I think, about 5 ways I have said, okay, this is a way to know your purpose. And this is something I think this is it 5? 6 ways, yes. And this is something I have tried and I've, taken some time to do an examination on. But before then, let us just, discuss a bit around the topic. And what is this topic is, I can't seem to find what to do with my life. And then an introduction to true spirituality. So this talk is going to touch on, finding purpose and what to do with your life, especially if you're at some crossroad where you're finding it difficult to make a decision. And also, I'll use this opportunity to introduce you to true spirituality. So, what is spirituality? Before I dive in, I would like to just do a short definition of what spirituality is. Spirituality, I believe, is the middle ground between religion, the belief of religion, and the knowledge of science. The more you shift to one extreme of religion and science, the more or the farther from the source do you go. Now, let's look at it now. When you go to religion, what that happens is that, especially in most religions, they want you to have a blind belief, just believe. And we have had a lot of people who have manipulated a lot of people, a lot of pastors getting people to drop their life savings, a lot of pastors getting people to do harmful things to themselves. Not just pastors, religious leaders of all kinds have built religious cults where they get people to do the most bizarre of things. And these people, on a normal circumstance, will not do these things. But just surrendering their will, thinking that surrendering their will to the whims and caprices of a religious leader makes them closer to God. But that is religion. And those are the extremes of religion. I always say something. I say religion is one of the worst things that have happened to spirituality. It's one of the worst things that have happened to the knowledge of God. So a lot of people hate God because their religion made them to. Their religion presented God in a very hateful manner, a very hateful way. A person that is out there to catch you, that is watching you if you're going to fuck up, wants to give you hardship in your life so that you turn to him, that the only time you remember him has to be the time where your life is hard. People recognize God to be that person that wants to punish you every time for your sins, that wants you to be poor except you give him money, that at the end of your life wants to take you to hell and make you burn in ashes because he loves you. So there are a lot of issues, in fact, a lot of cognitive dissonance that you will find, a lot of things that do not make any sense that you find when people attune deeply to religion. But attuning to spirituality means that, yes, you know who it is that, you are looking up to. You follow God. You follow, the source of all life and the source of all creation. And you know that you emanate from that place. And you also understand the very fact that there are certain abilities that this entity has made available for you to align with. Spirituality helps you to understand the very fact that you are not just human, you are a spirit experiencing a human experience. You are a spirit having a human experience. So that knowledge would also lead you to understanding the fact that, okay, now in my human experience, what are the things that I have to understand about this world I live in? What is the knowledge of how things operate in this world? In fact, the more you understand scientific knowledge, the more you see God in it. The more you see an order, the more you see the way things are well placed out. So, but by the time you begin to phase out, you begin to focus so much on the science, the knowledge of the science, and you do not see the person who is the total planner of all of this arrangement, you begin to lose out also on the source. So just like Aristotle will say, virtue lies in the middle. Until you find a balance between religion and science, you have not found true spirituality. True spirituality is, I know, for example, I know that I follow Christ. I listen to the words that he preaches and all of those things. And I believe in him. And I believe the promises he has made. And I have a close relationship with this man called Jesus, for example, as a Christian. And then there is also a body called Christianity. There's a system, a political system called Christianity. There's a structure called Christianity. And that structure can demand certain things of me, which Jesus might not demand directly. For example, I do not believe in many of, for example, when they say women should veil their hair in church, I don't see it as a portal to salvation. I don't think Jesus would mind if your hair was covered or not. It's a sign of piety, true. An outward sign of piety. And if you have an inward, idea of who Christ is and the inward ideas of holiness, then of course you want to exude an outer reflection of what your mind is. But many people are going to open their hair not out of indecency. There are a lot of things, like a person giving you, some people cannot miss church every Sunday and they see it like a sin when they miss church on Sundays. And as much as the community of gathering with people who believe the same thing you believe is an important gathering, it should not be a sin when you do not, for any reason. So people should not do these things because they feel like there's a sin or they feel like there's a punishment for what they do. They now approach the source of all life based on sanctions. That if I don't, if I don't do these certain things, the God of all life would take mine, or it would make life difficult for me. These perspectives are only found in religion. So that is the reason why bad religion has always been the greatest disservice to God. Because a lot of people that now begin to be rational will now say, after I became rational and started thinking things through, many things that are religious no longer make sense to me. My rational self begins to hate God instead of loving God because of what has been pushed to me through church or through other forms of, religious indoctrination. Why is it that God will not forgive me until I go and kneel down before a priest and tell him my sins? I told God my sins. I have a personal relationship with God. Why won't he forgive me? He says, no, my child, I will not hear what you have to say. You must go tell a priest or else I will not forgive you. That is not God. But of course, there are structures on how God is revealed to you, and that is what the churches do. they set up a system, set up a structure. And frankly speaking, they are one of the safest ways, because they help you to to balance everything. For example, look at the Bible. The Bible is a Catholic book organized by the Catholic Church. When you say something is a canon, a rule, a canon means a rule or a guidance or a code of conduct. So now, a canon, especially from the way we look at the legitimacy of the books that were put into the Bible, were selected specifically to teach faith. And it means that there were a lot of writings in that period where the Bible was compiled, but in these periods, books were sought out, and some books were found unworthy of teaching the faith. So these books were well curated to teach faith. So it's a safe thing. Sometimes when you give people, not everybody has the ability to search for certain knowledge. Certain knowledge will just affect some people, will make some people worse. So not everybody has the strong mind to really understand, to come in contact with certain knowledge and pick and choose. So people have to help them to pick and choose. And in that way, I understand where religion is coming from. But by the time a person picks and chooses for you, a person also prescribes your life for you. A person can also prescribe a lot of other things for you. True spirituality is in the middle, where you can see God at the same time. You have a rational capability, to experience the world around you and make sense of it. I call it spiritual science. The knowledge of the things that God has created and how they lead back to Him. Or the knowledge of the source of the primal source of the whole universe and leading back to that primal source. In fact, a person I was having a discussion with one time said something. He said, God created us. He asked me a question. He said, are men supposed to be representatives of God on earth? And I said something. I said, if that was not the case, why would He create you in His own image? So why would He go through that stress? He could have created you in any other way, but He created you in His own image. That is what? It is a sign that you are meant to more fully represent Him. So your intelligence, and every other attributes that you have that a lot other of creation does not have, is a pointer to whom or to your purpose for creation, and that is to represent the person in whose image you are made in the form of. And we should understand that since we seek certain things, for you to have certain things in your mind that worry you and make you want to seek for them, it means you are called to seek those things out. It will not be planted in your mind if you were not meant to seek it out. In that vein, I'm talking about something like we having this discussion now about spirituality, religion, science. Those things we try to seek, it is because we are meant to seek them. Goats basically just walk around eating grass for the rest of their life and have children. They have sex, they have children. That's all. They really do not care. They really do not care about if maybe they commit a sin or not. They just having fun. They don't really care about how what makes the sun set in the day, and they don't really care. We care. That's what makes us human. So by the time you understand spirituality, it is easy for you to now come back and start talking about what to do with your life. Why? Because you can't you say Nemo that not habit. You cannot ask the wrong person, a question, because they might not have the answer for you. The answer as to what purpose is to, they call this redire ad fontes, to return to the source and pick out at the source who, or what, is responsible for my existence in the first place. That is the source of my purpose, because for you to understand why a thing exists, you have to first look for the maker of that thing, or the cause that affected that thing's existence. The best way to understand how this car operates is by reading the manual written by the manufacturers of this car. Oh yeah, you know where I make this car. How should I operate these things that you have made? Oh yes, you press here. Now, we cannot now think we are going to navigate a life that we're not aware of how it came to be, to be given to us. So that is why we have to connect to the spiritual essence of our being in one way or the other. And I don't believe one religion is better than the other. I only believe that we should all attain to true spirituality and have a communion with God, so that by the time I'm asking you, you say, do you know God? You say, yes, you do. Or do you have a connection with your spiritual self? You say you do. Does it work for you? Does it bring about the results that you need, in your understanding of life, and make your life richer, fuller, and better? Does it help you in actualization of your purpose? If yes, then you are good to go. So people are going to church and don't know their purpose. So my view on different things is in a very liberated form. I am not a liberal person that just accepts and swallows anything. I'm not woke. But at the same time, I'm a person who actually, because I'm not woke, because I try to rationalize, to think deep into certain things, I try to oppose certain values. Those values have led me to be a person that always says something. That I lead and not be led. Especially with things that have to do with my life. I lead and not be led. Especially with interaction with other human beings. I lead and not be led. But for me to lead properly, I need to see vision and direction. And I believe that for a clearer vision, I have to see beyond myself. I have to go back to the source. So by the time you understand that part, then it will return you to the first thing I said. It is not for yourself alone. You see, when you say you don't know what to do with your life, most times you are thinking about yourself. For once, I want you to consider this very deeply. Many times when this confusion comes, it is us speaking, outside. Inside, or speaking within ourselves, talking about, what is it I want? What is it I can do? What is it? And most times do not think in a way of who is it that I can help? What would they become by me helping them? Relevance. Because at the end of the day, we think, we want certain benefits for ourselves, but what we truly want is relevance for other people. We want to plant our feet, and make sure that we plant our name in such a way that it touches lives, and even after we have left this earth, we are still being remembered. That is what legacy is about. And that's the reason why you don't really succeed at certain jobs, or you don't find fulfillment at certain jobs. They pay your bills, right? They might give you some kind of life that you want, but some of them might not offer you the kind of relevance, especially in the way that you want. It's the expression of your inner self. It is your spirit self crying out for expression. That is, I want to be expressed. This is me. But your outer apparel, which is your body, is forcing that spirit to succumb to something that it is not meant to be. And that is why that spirit keeps on struggling. I cannot be relevant in this place. Oh no, I have the spirit of a monkey. Why are you making me to swim? I'm the spirit of a monkey. I like to climb trees. the monkey will be completely useless in the water. Its relevance is on land and on trees. The stone is usually very, I think I gave one analogy of a stone one time like that. A stone is a useless thing. If you just see a stone, it's useless until you have to build a house. Then the stone is useful. Until you have to grind pepper, then the stone is useful. A thing only attains its true beauty and relevance when it is seated in its purpose. Who are you? What are you good at? Who do you help? And what do they become by your helping them? I'm going to do it very simply, especially with my job advising men. Now, this is going to be more streamlined. I help men to become regal, ethereal, and immortal. I help men who are ordinary to become immortal. So who are the men? Who are the people I help? I help men. I actually help a lot of people who are lost or who are trying to build, themselves. When it comes to my work as an image consultant, that's why I'm going to point out a thing here, is that before we begin to describe ourselves by our work, we have to describe ourselves by our purpose. I'm coming. Now, people always feel like their work is always their purpose, but I'm going to do a kind of balance here. Now, when I work as an image consultant and I help a person, with their dressing, with their behavior, I say, okay, I try to help them with their career, their social media presence, and all of that, their personal branding. This is work. But my main purpose is to transform this person from ordinary to immortal. My main purpose is to speak life into this person. And this is what I do with the rest of my life. So even if I am not working with a client, I make sure I am speaking life into people and inspiring them by my life, making impact everywhere I go. Through the channels that God has given to me, in a way that I wield even better than many other people. I have found a way, to speak. I found a way to write. I found that these are the things that align with me. I found that I sit down with a person and when I have a conversation with them, they find it difficult to remove what I have said from their mind. Oh, it means I have been sent to use these words to inspire generations. So yes, the work I do as an image consultant and all of those kind of things, it piggybacks on what my purpose is in this life. So I might not even be an image consultant. Maybe I'm a speaker, a public speaker. I might even be a fashion enthusiast because for example, I'm creating my fashion line, dress wising. And we have one cloth we released, a 2-piece Wising Men regalia. And I was wearing it one day and someone said, wow, this things you are pushing, I don't think everybody can push this kind of things you are pushing. I think you have found your purpose. I was not speaking in that video. I was just taking a picture. But even that action of me creating this brand, which is showing some level of uniqueness, I am fulfilling purpose. My purpose is to inspire people in this way, to make sure that they transform from their ordinary self to a higher self. So even if it's true dressing, I do that. Am I not still completing that my purpose that God has sent me in this life to be? So many of us are thinking of specific jobs, just like this guy that is talking about being a UI UX designer. Meanwhile, he might just want a job whereby he's free enough, to gain some level of relevance, whereby he's pulling relevance in the society. He's sought after. People want him to solve issues. That's what being a UI UX is, just a form of the expression of his purpose. The expression of his purpose is UI UX designer. UI UX designer, because it is sought after, it's a sought after skill. It means many people want him to help them solve their problems. So what does that tell you? It tells you that there might be many physical ways of expression, of that purpose, but you have to first find it, and it's a spiritual thing. So who have you been called to help? What person will remain lost if you are not there to bring them to the light? And that is the reason why when I work with people on image consulting, I don't just focus on the shallow part of it. And that is the unique. See, that's why you see, you can have work because everybody can do the same work you are doing. But what makes you to stand out in that work is a unique flavor you bring in, which is personal to you, which has been your calling. Now, when I have image consulting with people, I don't just tell them, okay, when you wear green colors, make sure that they align, with black shoes, and make sure that you use gold on them. Yes, I could do all of those things, but those things are not where I'm going to. Where I'm going to is to gas this person to the point whereby the only thing they see about themselves is greatness. I've spoken to some people, and when they leave here, they are filled with so much fire. So I don't just want you to learn how to dress up well or how to give a good handshake. I want to speak to you. I want to speak you into that person that you would effortlessly ooze it. I've said something before. I say two people can dress in the same pattern, wear the same clothes, and one person you see him say almost nice tease. You see another person, you're like okay. Some people just have the courage, and it's not. Yes, of course, courage can be learned, but confidence will first of all ooze from within before without. People will look at you and you have not said anything, and they just know that you're the right man for the job. How? Because communication is not about what you are saying or how you are saying. It's about who is speaking. And there's a way you carry an energy. You walk into a place and they feel your presence and they already know who is speaking. Why are you called to serve? Why are you called to inspire? The word inspire, from the Latin word inspirare, which means to breathe into. What are you breathing into people? Breath. And that is giving life. Now, you should understand that it is only God that is the giver of life, right? And you are joining in a procreation by giving life. So inspiration is procreation. Just like when you say you have been inspired to do something, what happens to you is that a breath of life has been breathed into you that made you come alive with some ideas, with some behaviors. These things are better, some certain behaviors which are being reflected in the physical. And by the time you pass off this knowledge you are gaining to other people and they receive it too, they're also being inspired. They're receiving the same breath. That is God speaking through you to these people, to lighten the situation, to make them healthier, to make their life fuller. One of the reasons people quit, what they are doing is because they feel like they are a drop in a mighty ocean. They feel like they are the same with everybody else. When you're a drop in a mighty ocean and it's just like you're walking and everybody's wearing the same clothes, it's like you're in prison. All of you are wearing the same clothes, just walking mindlessly. Do you know that even in that prison, there are some people that are born to be there? They are born to lead in the prison. That is their calling. What the fuck? You see, there are some people that just embody that, that personality. So, who are you? What are you good at? Who do you want to help with that? And what would they become by the time you finish helping them? I see that when people encounter me, if they live the same, I have not fulfilled my purpose for them meeting me. They should live different. So my work also includes, my work on image consultancy still includes a spiritual aspect. So I still take them through a spiritual aspect. And all the people who have worked with me on any image overhaul, I always tell them to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of deep, analysis of their person. It is not just about the baseline things, teaching you etiquette and all of that. Who do you think you are? I'm not teaching you how to start acting something. It is not make believe, it is the reality. If you're a guy that only wears certain kind of clothes, it is not make believe, it is fucking reality. This is how I feel about myself, and that is why I clothe myself this way. A person came up one day, on my regular image course, and what he said was, he sent me a picture. I asked them to send me pictures, different pictures about how they want to be portrayed, basically. They just send me a picture, and then he sent a picture. I asked him, why did you choose this picture? He said, this picture was him in his most guarded self. Like, this is when you are on guard. So then I said, okay, can I see what it looks like when you are not on guard? Then he sent another picture. And then, you see, I could see that it was a mindset thing. Now, the picture where he says he's on guard is a picture where he was well-dressed. He had a signet ring, his jewelry was on point, the picture camera, the angle was on point. And then the other one where it was unguarded, it was looking more simple, just more basic, t-shirt and all that shit. And I told him that, why should this glorious expression of yourself be your guarded self? Why is it not an expression of the truth that you exude? Why is it not an expression of the truth that you exude? Why is it not an expression of the fact that you are actually a king? He dressed like a king and he said that is his guided self. I said, no. Why don't you make this kind of dressing an expression of the truth that you have inside you? It's because no one has made you understand that you are actually this guy. That's why you think that this guy is a performance. I told you that my life changed one time when I was dating one girl and she said something to me. In that period, I used to just, trying to dress stylish, trying to just feel good and all of that. And I discovered that I was trying to be trendy. What is the thing that people are on to right now? Want to be trendy, want to align with emotions. Though that has not been my style, but I noticed that even when I had my own style, I always wanted to be trendy. Somehow I always wanted to copy what was the in thing. And then this woman looked at me and said something. She said, stop trying to look like or to conform. She said, you are not a big boy. You are a great man. That sunk deep into my head. And I've repeated this a lot of times. We're not together now, but that word has redefined my life from that very moment. I knew that I was above many of these things. Now me supposed to teach them the trend. I discovered that understanding my uniqueness was my card. Like, that was the right card for me to play. Understanding my uniqueness. So the next point I want to talk about is understanding your difference and accepting your difference. We are different people, true and true. Many of us have not embraced our difference. Now imagine all the creatives, the actors, the musicians, Kaby, the guy on TikTok that was just doing no words and he has found fame through that means. People are going to have different expressions of themselves, but you do not embrace your difference. So you become like a drop in the ocean. There's this girl that was interviewed on the Honest Bunch podcast. Fuck Kelly Kosisochukwu. Now she talks about sex a lot and just talks about sex, but that is what has really gotten her a lot of relevance. And I love the way she doesn't really give a fuck. Maybe because she has been through a lot. But many people want to force people to see life from their own perspective. A person says, I am not a victim. A person says, I am healed from what I'm experiencing. I believe that I've accepted the life I have and I'm living it to the best way I want to enjoy it. And another person says, no, you're hurt. You really need therapy. I think you really need to work on yourself. The truth is, stop forcing an idea about people on them. You have to understand that people are going to process things in different ways. And some people are just stronger than you. What was going to crush you might not just crush them. Might give them another perspective to life. And I think for this particular woman, Fokele Kositochukwu, our experiences in life has made her to see life from a perspective of, I don't give a fuck. I am different. My experiences have shaped me. And there's no need crying over spilled milk. Right now, this is who I am. So I tried to look trendy in that period and all of that. Now I don't. Now it's kind of things I do, my dressing, my style, the way I carry myself now is different from a lot of people and how they expect that, I would carry myself. So it's important that we get these ideas. So for spirituality is a bridge between religion and science. You could find church and lose God, and you could lose God and find God. You could lose church and find God. So these are some of the things that are very important. I want to go into those 6 things I said I was going to discuss on finding purpose. These 6 things are things that I have just gone through myself, and I feel like these are things that are worth sharing. I'm not saying they would solve all your problems or they have all the answers for you, but they have the ability to put you at least on a path of direction. So there are 5 things, and these 5 things I have shared them before. Those who follow me on Twitter, but I'm going to expound, or espouse them right now. How to know your purpose. Number 1, what kind of family and environment were you born into? What need is prominent there? You see, God is the good sower. So God, the good sower, plants us in good soil. When you are planted as a seed in the womb of your mother, you are birthed in a family that points you to your purpose. So your birth is not a mistake. There's no one that is born by mistake. What is the odds that of all those millions of sperm, it's you that came to be? The fact that your mother produced a particular egg at a particular point in time, and out of millions of sperm, just one, which was, a part of you, came together to fertilize your ovum and became you. A lot of people lose pregnancies. A lot of miscarriages happen. Yours didn't happen. A lot of factors could have affected your coming to this earth, but you came. No one is born by mistake. It is a very well thought out situation. So, you are meant to be born in your family. No other person can produce you than your parents. You bear a distinct DNA from your brothers and sisters. Of course, they are related. You guys share DNA, but there's a level of distinction. Everybody is different. Just imagine the very fact that everybody is different. So what makes you, what makes you to be better in that situation you have found yourself? It is a well thought out plan. It is a reflection of the plan of God. And if you do not believe in God, you should know that there's a precise plan for you to be where you are. The odds of you being born where you are, it's not so high. But it came out to be that is the case. So you're born in Nigeria, or you're born in any country that you find yourself, wherever you're listening to this podcast from, Where you are bettered, where you are born, is a pointer to what your purpose is. The family you are born into is a pointer to what your purpose is, because they shape your thinking. And that is you being planted in good soil. See, even if you went through a toxic family, it still points to your purpose, because your experiences in life helps you to better understand people who have also faced the same experience and being able to help them. Many things I help a lot of people with now are things I've experienced myself and I've suffered, that I've worked on, and now I want to start helping people to work on and be better. So my experience of those things makes it so easy for me to even connect with these people. I can tell them exactly what it is they are feeling. I can just go straight to the point, and I'm talking to this person, and the person's like, exactly, like, how do you fucking know? Because I am you. That's why I know. What is your family known for that draws you every day? What does your family lack that needs to be fulfilled? What support or motivation can your environment give you? This is a way God points you to your purpose. I know these questions are very important. What does your family lack that needs to be fulfilled? There are some things, sometimes some people, a small child, anything spoils in the family, they're the ones that they call to come and repair it. From small, they have been repairing small appliances. That's a pointer to your purpose. What does your family lack that you are always in that position to fill? Maybe the one that always leads everyone in prayer. And no one is as charismatic as you in your family. The pointer. What support and motivation can your family give to you? It's a pointer. Number 2, what are the things that you do better than others? What comes easily to you that others need to fight for? See, God will show you what He has called you to be in this world by the way people relate with you. What are those things that people consider you a solution to? For a long time, I have always been the speech giver and letter writer in my family. I write speeches for members of my family. I usually would speak on behalf of the family. Most times my brother will tell me, "Ma, please go and speak on behalf of the family." I have been in positions to give, to give speeches on behalf of the family, to speak on behalf of the family, to write on behalf of the family. So those were skills I developed easily because I was just that guy. So from a tender age, I have found myself in one position to lead or the other. I can't count how many times I became class prefect. And I've noticed that in most times where I have to contest for anything, I easily get people to align with me. Maybe I've not won all the time, but if I truly put my mind to something, especially when it comes to leadership, people just simply look at me. I'm new in a place, but they believe that they can trust me and entrust me with leadership. It's a pointer to what God was calling me to be. So right from time, I've always been the guy that most of my friends come to for relationship issues. Right from junior secondary, I've always been the guy. I've always been the guy that nine days sabi woman matter. So nobody needs to tell me that I'm called to help people in this regard. When I help people with relationship, when I help people with these things, I have been helping people with these things since when I was in junior secondary. To inspire people, to lead them and solve their problems in the best way I can. No one needs to tell me that is my calling. Because that is what I have been doing since when I was not old enough to call it purpose. You have to look back. Ready, at Fontes. Go back to the source. You see, looking back, that's literally what I have done for most of my life. I find out that for most of my life, I've been advising people on boyfriend, girlfriend things. Yes, that's what I've been doing. People that know me throughout my time in my secondary school, even in the major seminary, in the university, till date, people know that I've been the guy that gives relationship advice, motivational advice. People know. And sometimes when I'm doing some other things, now I've deviated a lot of times from the things that I'm actually called to do. I will calm down and start thinking again, Ima. But this is all you have ever done all your life that people have come to find you worthy to do. You see, that seed was planted in me from the very days that I will follow my mom to her school. My mom, she's a teacher. And then I will go follow her to school on days when I am on maybe holidays and all of that. And I'll begin to teach the pupils. I begin to teach the students. I'll begin to teach them one or two things that I know. Then I have found that for a long time, I have always been a person that wants to teach people what I know. So I've earned the talk of ITK, I too know, at certain times. But I know that I have always wanted to teach people things. So me doing this thing I'm doing here is not new to anyone. If there's anyone in my family that is what I'm doing, yes, yeah, they know. Number 3, what kind of knowledge fascinates you? What are you eager to know about the world? What are the books that make your dick stand? What do you see on shelves and be like, I must know this? Sometimes you go into a bookstore and they are looking at some titles to catch your eye. When you go to Netflix, what are the things that you want to watch? Me, I like anything that follow the themes of family, business, intrigue, drama, of course, romance, yes. But more importantly, business, documentaries, people that are great, how they have built their greatness, people who have led, wars, people who have built communities, people who have built followership. I will listen to those people because I am drawn to those kind of people because I'm fascinated by how they're able to build this kind of influence, because that is the kind of thing I also want for myself. I also want to be able to, inspire people, breathe into them an idea that was just breathed into me by God. And this is what some people have been able to do, successfully. And I want to always see how they were able to do these things. So what kind of knowledge fascinates you? There has to be something that fascinates you. That's a calling. What videos do you search on YouTube? When you go to YouTube, what are the videos that usually come to your mind? You just see some stuff and you want to always click on them. Is it self-help? Is it even comedy? You have to calm down. That's the reason why you have to be connected to your spirit. So what is God telling me through all these physical means? God is trying to call you and pull you towards a particular idea, towards a particular way of life. Number 4, what dreams do you have about yourself? Dreams when you sleep, dreams when you are awake, and daydream. Sometimes you can just sit down in a place and you are carried away. When you imagine your best life, you are having the best time. What do you imagine? What do you vision? What's your vision of yourself fully expressed? What's that vision for you? You see me? I always see myself on stage talking to a large crowd. I see many people buying into my ideas. You see? If you're going to be given awards for anything in life, what would that award be for? Those are some of the questions you ask yourself. My award would be, transforming 1,000 men from ordinariness to them understanding their purpose and their worth. Bringing thousands of men and women to a realization of their spiritual essence. Bringing more and more people to a point whereby they have a deep, strong presence anywhere they go. I want to have enlightened people, enlightened thousands, billions of people. I want to have enlightened people with the knowledge that God gives to me. I want to be given an award for being influential. What award at the end of it do you want to get? That at the apogee of your career, that you'll be given an award, what award would that be? When you think about it, no, don't look at what is popular. What do you think? What have you thought about, that you want to be awarded for? Number 5, if you can only share one idea in your life with the world, what would that be? If there's only one idea you can share, one idea, you will not be able to talk about any other thing again. That only one idea. You see, there is one idea that makes people. I've checked all of these guys that are the greatest guys in the world. They have one idea. Steve Jobs. He has one idea. Innovation, making life easy. He was a perfectionist because he wants to make sure that he covers all the places whereby there will be difficulty for the final consumer, and making sure that all his products come out. One idea. He has one idea, and that idea was his driving principle. That we're not going to be a computer company, we're going to be an innovation company. That we're not going to be working about the tech, but we're going to look at what are the people clamoring for. We're not just going to make cool tech and look for a way to sell them. We're going to build a culture that demands what we produce. That is Steve Jobs. Jeff Bezos is also similar in his thinking, especially with the mindset of making sure that all the work is done to make sure that things are easy. At Amazon, it's very easy for him to have just done things in a different way. Maybe just linking people with vendors, but he creates up these large warehouses, where he has to keep things, because he wants to make sure that when you're buying from Amazon, there's a difference. This thing should get through to you quick. You get through to you easy, just after one click. You want to make sure that most of the things that you would normally stress about, you don't stress about them. One idea. Fela had one idea. Don't be a zombie. Don't be a zombie to government systems. Don't be a zombie to religious systems. Amen, amen, amen. We listen to his songs, calling out the zombie-like nature of those people who do not interrogate things for themselves. Exposing to you what Nietzsche will call slave morality. The disguise of impotence as virtue. It tells you that you can inspire the world while smoking Igbo. That Igbo is not just for the bad boys on your street. He's smoking Igbo now. Fela they smoke Igbo. But inspiring the world. Dropping impact in the world that has not still been extinguished up to today. Becoming a footprint for activism. Becoming a footprint for thought leadership. Attracting people from all around the world to come and embrace him and embrace his difference. And also find purpose aligning with him. One idea, do not be a zombie. So what shall be your own one idea? You see, when we don't have these things figured out, then we think that everything lies in the job we have to do. No, it doesn't lie in the job you have to do. Fela would have still been Fela if he was a doctor. He would have been an activist doctor. Fela, one of the best ways for him to have expressed his views was through music. He would have been a public speaker. He could be a radio journalist, a newscaster. One thing you should understand that it's not about the job. Those jobs are just means of expression of that spiritual self. But you need to know that spiritual self. And these are some of the guides. What is that one idea? My one idea is that people should move from ordinary to immortal. People should build legacies beyond themselves and should not just focus on thinking about only themselves attaining wealth for just attaining wealth's sake. They have to make sure that they build impacts that people can remember them even after they leave this world. And that is the driving force for all the work I do. That's why I chose enlightenment. I chose education. I chose pushing certain ideals, making sure that the family is safe. All of these things emanate from the fact that I want men to be immortal. What is that one idea that in my life, I would share this one idea? That if there was no other thing I could share, this will be it. That is what it will be. You see, usually our purpose will be our whole life. It will be what we are willing to sacrifice all else to be. You have to be willing to let go of every other thing. Say focus is not the ability to say yes to something, it's the ability to say no to other things. I have someone with focus in my life too much. Oh, I can define focus for you because I really lived it. Or the deficiency of it. Purpose is what we give our life to. And it will color other decisions we make, like who we date, who we marry, who we keep as friends, what we believe in, religion, spirituality. Our purpose will color all of these things. Some of you, the church you are going to is going to dull your purpose. Because maybe in that church they say women should not preach. And you're a woman who God has given fire in her mouth. That church will dull your purpose. Or you're a person who is not allowed to say certain things because maybe people in your church do not consider it politically correct. For some reason, it's not polite enough for members of your church. But it's a message you have been sent to give, as raw as it is. You think if Fela was a Christian, saying you will have been able to, of course he was a son of a preacher, but do you think he would have been able to speak against the zombiness of the church? Or the influence that the church or the pastors and the imams use to reap people who believe in them or who claim to believe in God through them? Do you think we would have been able to express such ideas had they been deeply soaked in religion? Very likely not. So you see, your purpose colors all of these things. It is not about one job, it's about who you are, what you are good at, whom you want to serve, and what they will become by the virtue of encountering you. Number 6. What do you want to be remembered for on your deathbed? These things bring clarity. You see, there is this clarity that comes with being close to death. You see, you can easily sieve away all that doesn't matter and see clearly the things that truly matter. The best way to understand the things that truly matter is to just think for a moment that you're about to die tomorrow. What will matter today? Trust me, I'm very sure that the opinion of a Yarisi does not matter to you. And that's why I always try as much as possible that when I teach people about image, I do not try to teach them that they are doing a performance for people. I tell them about the importance of profiling and truly to present their true self in a proper light so that people will say what it is that they see about them. But I also make sure that they are not subject to the opinions of people. That the reason why they do certain things is not because of the opinions of people. They do certain things because they are who they are and they can control how people view them. And they have that power, so they should wield that power. But I do not tell them that all that they are is dependent on what people say about them. So it's important that I first of all deal with that spirit. That's why that guy that was saying that when he's well dressed, he feels like he's guarding himself. And I told him, I said, no. A king will express himself as a king. Except you don't view yourself as a king, that's why you see it as a performance. You see it as a costume. It's not a costume, it's a regalia. I am going to die today. What matters to me the most? You see, you don't need to wait when you get to your actual deathbed. You see, you can stage one now. Imagine for 1 second that today is your last day. Because today can well be your last day. There's no guarantee that we're going to see tomorrow. And it's so fucking crazy, man. Like, I could just sleep and not wake up tomorrow. It's crazy. But that is a fact. Okay, if I was told for a fact that I was not going to see tomorrow, how would I live today? And that's how you should live every day. Akon will say, so live your life like every day is going to be your last. Live your life like every day is going to be your last. Because even the life that you have is borrowed, because you're not promised tomorrow. These are the words of Akon, but these are very deep words. You're not promised tomorrow, so you have to live your life like every day is going to be your last. So one of the major places for clarity and understanding purpose is that you don't really need, it doesn't need to be in alignment with what you would regret at your or what other people feel like it should be for you. Anything that you're going to regret on your deathbed that you have not been able to do or not been able to be, it's usually based on your perception of yourself, not other people's perception of you. But also, you would understand that your life will have been a lot empty if you lived it only with you in mind and not how your life can inspire a generation to come. You would even hate your life the more if you saved it because you were trying to be safe and you're not brave enough to embrace your difference. Because there are a tribe of people that are waiting for you to announce yourself, that they might find a person that they will believe in. Some people are waiting for you to announce yourself. You have been called to announce yourself to certain people. They're your tribe. They understand you. They fuck with you. They are looking for someone that can speak to them the language that they understand. But you are, you are how do I put it now? You are mixing or you are diluting your message with the noise around. Other people's messages are what you are giving out. You are not giving your own message, such that it's like you are mixing your language. Maybe these people now they speak French, as you are speaking a kind of pidgin, mixing French with English or one other language, and these people are not hearing you clearly. It's as if they want to hear you, but is this guy speaking French? Is he speaking English? Who is he speaking to really? So that's the reason why you have to make sure that your message is clear, so it gets to the people who can really align with your message. That's why there's some things that I do not just imbibe certain things because I believe that everyone says they should imbibe it. You go to some places and they tell you that certain things are bad. I don't believe these things are bad. Recently I was talking about me quitting, drinking and, getting high and all of that. And I was talking to someone about it, and I told the person I said, you don't become pastor. And I said, what does pastor have to do with me not wanting to drink alcohol? Because alcohol is first of all not bad. You want to smoke. Smoking is not bad. None of these things are actually bad. But when I reason it from a health perspective, I say, okay, this is my health affect me health-wise. Maybe because I want to live long and I want to do a lot of things, let me curtail these aspects of my life. And if these aspects of my life are affecting me in one way or the other that I do not like, I have to cut them out. Everybody cuts out those aspects of their life that affect them in one way or the other. But the truth is that some people have found a way to move with those things you call vices. They have found a way to live with them, and their lives are okay. So in those kind of situations now, I can't say to these people that they're committing no sin. Man, they're not committing any sin, not even against themselves. You see. So my view of life is, I do not. If I say something is wrong, it's because I've seen it to be wrong. I've checked it. I've seen the reason why it's wrong, not because I was told that it was wrong. Not at this age. It's good for children to feel like that, but not at your big adult age that something is wrong. Some of you want to, maybe you are very good with knowledge of sex, and reproduction, and you want to sell sex products, sex supplements and all of those things, which can help people. Some people are suffering serious problem when it comes to sexual health, and they need people like you who are bold enough to come and sell products to them. But for some reason, you are shying away from that calling. God put the knowledge in your mind for a reason. People are willing to pay you to help them, but for some reason, you're dulling on that because you are living what they call the slave's morality. People have told you is wrong. You have to determine what is wrong. You have to ask yourself, does this do good for people? Does this do genuine good for people? Does it truly help them? If I am going to die today, what matters to me the most? Now, begin to fashion your life accordingly. Begin to align yourself accordingly with what you want to be remembered for. What are the things that you are going to regret if you did not do? Begin to align yourself to doing them. To that my guy that is working in one place that is really vexing him out and stressing him out, if you die tomorrow, wouldn't it pain you that you are not able to try out the thing that you truly wanted to be, you truly wanted to do? Now, of course, I like to say things as real as they are. So let us not lie that some of us are in very difficult situations whereby we need to feed and we have to work jobs that we are not really passionate about. Or let me put it that way, work jobs that are not in alignment with our purpose. But one thing is that purpose is not a job. It is the whole life. So you can be fulfilling purpose at any point you are. You can be cleaning the ground, but still fulfilling your purpose. And the more you begin to impact people in that manner, the more you say, the more you keep on. Fitness in small things is fitness in bigger. So, for example, I'm a good speaker, and I always know I'm a good person good at inspiring people, good at teaching people certain things. Why don't I start creating content around, maybe I'm good with dressing and speaking, and start talking about dressing and speaking? Why I'm still working my work I'm working. I'm helping people in my work, giving them advice on certain ways to dress properly, giving them advice on how to carry themselves, giving talks within my company. I am exuding my purpose already and touching lives where I am. And the more I do this, the more people get to know me for it, and the more people are drawn to me by virtue of my gifts, because I am fanning my gifts into flame. So at every point in time, that guy that is working in that web, this thing that I said he wants something that is going to the UI, UX, whatever. He wants some level of to be in a tech skill that is relevant. He says he has neither the time nor the finance to learn that tech skill. But when it comes to his purpose, which is to be relevant in any way, he can be relevant anywhere he finds himself. He can offer relevant advice with regards to, systems, web systems, in that place he's working right now. And that can become the point whereby he begins to be a person that can be trusted with more responsibility. So it starts from knowing who you are spiritually. Knowing your spirit man, seeing him clearly, understanding who he is, understanding who he has been sent to help, and going all out with braveness to help this person, embracing your difference. And I also, for those people that cannot, embrace their difference without leaving the things that they are doing right now or leaving their safety. I'm going to tell you, fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the brave. On your deathbed, would you or would you not regret not taking that leap of faith? Would you or would you not regret not doing what you could do right now? Even if it's the barest minimum, at least do something towards your purpose. Even if it's on the weekends. Won't you, if you die tomorrow, feel bad that you did not contribute to your generation all the things that have been deposited into you from God? You see, this is what I've been able to learn about purpose after grappling with the idea myself for years. So I do not claim to have all the answers, but I can attest to the fact that this will help you. So I hope you find what you seek. I hope you, after listening to this podcast, you can also get people like you who are facing the same kind of problem with clarity like you. Get them and get them to listen to this podcast. You guys begin to ask yourself these questions and doing a deep introspection. That at the end of your introspection, you are able to come to the cognizance that this is who I am. This is what I am good at, my strengths. And if you have listened to my podcast on strength, I think I did one, strengths and weaknesses, how to be a wise man. There's another one I also spoke about, some of those strengths. So just go through, the posts, to my podcast to better understand what it is I'm pushing across. Some of the things that, are very important that guys should know or people should know generally. So just for summary's sake, your strength are those things that you can do that other people find it difficult to do and they are willing to pay you for. So when you find this thing that you are better at everyone else and everyone would prefer to pay you than to have to do that thing themselves, then you now bring your passion along to do that thing. Your passion can be applied anywhere. Don't let anybody tell you that passion is a thing that you have to follow. No. Passion follows competence. If you become competent at something, you'll be passionate about it because you have found relevance in that thing. Because you're the one that can do it, nobody else can pull it off. You did whine. You have found relevance. So that being said, make sure you share this podcast with other people who are going through the same thing you are doing and are asking this very salient question. What the fuck am I going to do with my life? Stay wise.